It is about from January to April 2018, China's trade situation. According to Chinese custom, during this period, China's import and export has reached 9.11 trillion, an increase of 8.95% year-on-year, and export has reached 4.81 trillion, and import has increased by 11.7%, a surplus of 500 billion, with a narrowing trend, and China's foreign trade has maintained a positive momentum. And from the perspective of structure, for electronic and machinery, it has increased by 8.7%, accounting for a larger share of 1.3 percentage points to 59.1%. And for integrated circuit, automobile and mobile phone has increased by 22.3%, 17.1%, and 13.5%. And from the perspective of importing commodities, natural gas, crude oil, and coal, as well as other categories of commodity, has increased by a large share. For natural gas, crude oil, and oil, as well as other minerals, they have increased by 6.46%, 8.9%, 9.3%, and 9.3%. For machinery import, it has increased by 1.91 trillion, an increase of 15%. For the import of automobile, it has increased by 2.1%. And from the perspective of players, the private enterprises, they export by 2.9 trillion, an increase of 9.6%. And the percentage reached about 46.9%. And for SOEs, the export is about 500 billion, and the share is 10.9%. And for foreign countries, the export is 2.03 trillion RMB, and the share is 42.2%. From the perspective of trade, the trade in general goods has increased to 2.71 trillion. The share has increased to 56.3%. And for processing trade, it has increased by 0.5% to the share of 32%. And for the small quantity export on the border, it increased by 6 million or so, and the share is 61%. And for the Belt and Road countries, the export is 2.51 trillion RMB, an increase of 11.6%, higher than the overall increase by 2.7 percentage points. And the import to the US, EU, and Hong Kong has increased by 6.6%, 5.7%, and 7.2%. The Central and Western China export has increased by 17%. The share has increased to 56.4%. For the eastern part, the export increased by 4.6%, and the share is 23.6%. And for the first quarter of 2018, we talk about various indexes. And today, we release the first quarter shopping malls development index. And in that report, we see that for the first quarter of 2018, the comprehensive index is 67.5%, and the year-on-year drop is 0.8%. Therefore, in 2018, China's shopping malls have maintained a positive market and a positive trend, among which The current status index is 64.4%. As influenced, the month-on-month decrease is 0.3%, and year-on-year increase is 0.8%. For the overall market in the next half a year, has an index of 72.1%, a month-on-month increase of 1.2%. And this shows the short-term profit of enterprises. And in this report, we see the shopping malls, the macro market index, and the cost control index has a month-on-month increase is 3.4 and 3.6. The business owners are more confident for the whole market. And for the first-tier cities, the index is 67.6. And month-on-month increase is 4.3%. And for the high-quality shopping malls, especially those targeted to the young people, and for the one-stop shopping service solution, these are the key points of the development. For the regional and community shopping mall has an index of 69.4 and 69.6, an increase of 3.9% month-on-month and 4.5% year-on-year. In 2018, the shopping mall center has a shopping center has witnessed a positive development with wider variety and more innovative development. And for the overall consumption, as well as the whole market has been witnessing a booming trend, and this has never been changed. And third, it is about the 2017 China's Exhibition Center report. Recently, the MOFCOM has issued the report on the development of exhibition industry 2017. And in the report, we can see that in 2017, China's exhibition market has led the world. And we have witnessed a transfer from high-speed growth to high-quality growth. Green, low-carbon, and sustainable development has sinked in as the major concept of this industry. According to the statistics of MOFCOM in 2017, for the professional exhibition centers, we have staged 5,600 exhibitions with an area of more than 10,000 square meters. The increase is 11% and 12.3% respectively, and we have witnessed a continuous growth. The area has reached more than 100,000 square meters, and as compared to 2016, we have a very substantial increase. The revenue has increased. In 2017, the revenue has reached 82.7 billion RMB, an increase of 12.3%. And now, we have the following characters for this sector. First, industrial and regional structure has been increasing and improving. For regional structure, Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou has led the country in this development of this industry. Chongqing, Chengdu, Nanjing, Shenzhen, Yangzhou, Qingdao. These cities have witnessed a rapid development of the exhibition sector. We have the coordinated development of Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei province, and Yangtze River Delta, as well as other regions. And under this background, we see the rapid development of exhibition sector in Tianjin and Wuhan. And for these different sectors, we see the daily consumption account for 31.3%, and for the housing decoration as well as other services account for 18.4%. Industrial technology, 16%. Culture, physics, sport, and entertainment, 9.7%. Second, we see we have a diversified composition of the market players. we have accelerated integration of the resources in this sector, focusing on innovation development and green development. Various exhibitions have favored new energy vehicles, smart manufacturing, and environmental protection. And we can see that we have an upgrading for the exhibition centers to be built, and we have accelerated the pace. And in the service provider, they have been transferring from the single solution to the whole package solution. And third, we witness a future trend for the innovation-driven development of this industry. Modern technology has been integrated with the exhibition industry, and big data has been a new driving force for the upgrading of this industry. We promote the innovation in the business model as well as management and service. Fourth, the exhibition economy has served the BRI. The BRI has been pushed forward. Various countries and enterprises have utilized exhibitions to explore Chinese market, and we have a booming third-party market and various participants. The BRI participants in exhibition centers has increased to 26.4%, an increase over 2016, and exhibition has become a crucial way in China to expand, reform, and open up and expand our market. And next, MOFCOM will adhere top priority to quality and efficiency. We will also want to establish a new model in managing the exhibition industry, and we will help various participants to grow and help this industry to realize high-quality development. So this is what I want to make in the announcements, and after that, I'm willing to answer your questions. Thank you. We see that the import and export has exceeded the market expectation. Okay, the sound is not so clearly. She's mentioning about China's export and import growth as well as the trade negotiation between China and the U.S. Thank you. As you have mentioned, for the 4th month of China's import and export has increased. And for the whole year, we hope to maintain this momentum. And this is attributed to the returning to the growth track of the world economy, and we have an increased demand for the international economy. And the supply side reform has been sustained in implementation, and we have various demand for the production and consumption released in China. We hope that China and the U.S. trade relationship will become an important part in promoting the sustainable development of the world economy. And we will organize the meeting between two heads of state between China and the U.S. and to tackle the economy and trade issue and solve the problems in the negotiation on the part of two countries. And for China, we want to refrain from such a trade war, but we are not afraid. We hope that both countries, under the leadership of both heads of state, we can negotiate based on mutual respect and equal negotiation. So we can enhance communication as well as practical cooperation to manage the disputes and promote the bilateral relationship for a sustained and steady growth. From CCTV and network. And we see that in March we have the deficit, and in April we have the surplus. We wonder whether the surplus will be maintained. Thank you for your question. We have emphasized that China will never seek on purpose the trade surplus. Nowadays, the surplus is the result of the market operation. And with the market conditions changing, the surplus will change. President Xi Jinping has mentioned in this year's Beijing Forum that China will take the initiative to expand the import, and this is our way to promote the balanced development of external trade. And this is also an important step for us to upgrade our industry and to satisfy the needs of the customers for a high-quality life. And trade surplus is not our goal. We hope that China's external trade can benefit its own economy as well as its own people. We hope also the external trade will offer the benefits to all our trading partners as well as the global economy and the people around the world, so that we can contribute to the community of shared future. Thank you. The lady in the last row. Thank you. I will talk about the tariff on the steel and aluminum of 50 billion. And we now see the upgrading and escalation of the trade measures. So are you confident that you can reach the consensus based on such a situation? Thank you. For the U.S., it has announced a list for the proposed tax worth of $50 billion, and we have a clear stance on this issue. We oppose such unilateral activity as well as trade protectionism. The U.S. need to put away their threats. We will resolutely secure and safeguard the interests of the country as well as the people, and we will never change this stance. And for the trade negotiation between China and the U.S., I have emphasized before that we hope both parties can join their hands and to jointly promote the steady, healthy growth of China-U.S. trade and to achieve win-win to benefit the people of both countries and around the world. From Macau, we see an important trade fair is held in Brazil, and we want to ask how to comment on the Macau's role in reform and opening up. Thank you. There has been 4 decades since the reform and opening up, and in this process, Hong Kong and Macau have played an irreplaceable role. We believe that they are pioneers. First, they are the pioneer for introducing foreign funds and investments. Since the reform and opening up, people from Hong Kong and Macau, they pioneered in coming back to the mainland for the investment. They offered a huge amount of money for the development as well as technology and managerial expertise. They have been helping and attracting the investments from all around the world. By end 2017, we have utilized about $1.02 trillion in the funds from Hong Kong and Macau, accounting for 54% of the total foreign fund used in mainland. Second, Hong Kong and Macau are the pioneer for us to open up. CEPA has been implemented for 15 years. The mainland and Hong Kong and Macau has witnessed a decrease in the institutional barrier. We have maintained the highest level of reform and opening up. For the CEPA service agreement, it has played an essential role, and it is the first of mainland to adopt a negative list for the pre-entry resident treatment. And we also, under this agreement, try to open up this trading service. Hong Kong and Macau, thirdly, are also a pioneer in the development of trade and economy. With the special location and free trade port positioning, Hong Kong and Macau has helped the joint development in trade between mainland and their respective economy. For the trading goods between the mainland and Hong Kong and Macau, we have witnessed a rapid growth. In 2017, it has reached $289 billion, about 7% of the total external trade. Trading service of Hong Kong and Macau has become the largest destination of trading service. And Hong Kong and Macau has also been an important bridge for the external and outward investment and cooperation by end 2017. For non-financial ODI, it has reached about $590 billion and 52% of the total stock. And Hong Kong and Macau has also utilized their own respective advantages to participate and contribute to the Belt and Road Initiative. Concerning Macau's role in promoting the cooperation and communication between the mainland as well as the Portuguese-speaking country, we can see that Macau has played a critical role. For Macau, it has a natural bond with the Portuguese-speaking countries. And for China, we can see that we deem Macau as an important platform. The Macau government has established the platform of information sharing and the Trade Service Center, as well as the Exhibition Cooperation Center, as well as the Food Dissemination Center for the Portuguese-speaking countries. These centers and platforms have witnessed rapid growth, especially since the first China-Portuguese country summit. The five consecutive ministerial meeting has created favorable conditions for the development of China's economy, as well as the healthy and steady growth of the Macau itself. And in 2017, the import has reached about $170 billion, an increase year-on-year of 29%. We hope that Macau can give full play to its advantages to participate in depth China's cooperation with the Portuguese-speaking countries. We hope that Macau can be a bridge in the future and contribute to the communication and cooperation between mainland China, Hong Kong, Macau, and Portuguese-speaking countries. Thank you. Concerning the visit of Premier Li Keqiang to Japan, we talk about the free trade zone, what are the progress, and what are our blueprint. Thank you. China and Japan, we are the second and third largest economy in the world. We have strong economic complementarity and we have close cooperation. And this year, it is the 40th anniversary of China-Japan Peaceful Coexistence and Friendship Treaty. And Premier Li Keqiang has visited Japan for various practical results. And this visit will contribute to the improvement and development of bilateral relationship, and it will also help us to deepen the bilateral cooperation and trade. Yesterday, Premier Li Keqiang has met with Japan Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and with their witness, the Minister of MOFCOM as well as the Minister of Japan concerning trade and economy, they have signed the memorandum for the enterprises to expand the market and have more cooperation. And in the bilateral dialogue mechanism, we will help the companies in promoting this interaction. Minister of Commerce and his counterpart in Japan has signed the documents in terms of trade in services between two countries so as to facilitate investment and cooperation in this regard. And Minister Zhong Shan has also met with the Minister of Economy and Manufacturing in Japan, and they have discussed about economic development, regional and trade cooperation, as well as other issues. And during the visit, on the high-level dialogue between China and Japan, as well as China-Japan economic partnership negotiation within these mechanisms, we have also talked about social security and the export of Japan rice into China, as well as Japan's workforce on the import issue, as well as the joint venture in filming. We have signed relative documents in these regards. Concerning the China-Japan-South Korea Free Trade Zone, in the 7th national leader meeting between the three countries, the three countries' leaders have announced a declaration so as to accelerate the negotiation for the free trade zone. So we try to reach a high-level, reciprocal, and valuable agreement. The negotiation for the free trade zone has started in November 2012, and it has been involved with 13 rounds of negotiation. The three parties have exchanged views on mutual visits, trading services, investment, and rules. The negotiations have achieved a lot of progress. We are willing to cooperate with Japan and South Korea to implement the vision of our leaders and to enhance our communications. We will try our best to reach as fast as possible an agreement which is mutually beneficial and with its own value.
Thank you.
My question is about China-Russia relationship. So what are the long-term trends of the bilateral relationship between China and Russia? According to the customs of China, for the 4 months of this year, China-Russia relation bilateral trade has reached $310 billion and a year-on-year growth of 30%. We have a rapid expansion of bilateral trade. And there may be the following reasons. First, the Russian economy has continued to improve, and the market demand has been booming. Therefore, it has led to the expanded export on the part of China to Russia. The increase is 21%. And we see that the import of commodities from Russia, they have increased both in price and quantity. According to Russia's data, for the first 4 months, Russia has exported about 12.4 million tons of the petroleum through the pipeline, and Russia has become, for 4 consecutive years, the largest provider and supplier of crude oil. And third, we have the appearance of new growth points. We talk about the agricultural products cooperation. We have various opened market access. And for the Russia's exports to China has been impressive. The increase has reached 35.3%. For investment and big projects, they have been a driving force, and that is the 4th point. In recent years, China's investment programs as well as outsourcing programs, contracting programs have also been expanding in energy, space, nuclear sectors. These projects have been pushing forward steadily, giving rise to the substantial growth of bilateral trade. We can see the rapid growth of bilateral trade between China and Russia is now seeing an accumulating favorable environment. For the whole year, we are expecting a double-digit growth. The bilateral trade may exceed $100 billion. Next step, we will take measures by joining hands with Russia to upgrade the trade structure and to facilitate trade, so as to build a new version of growth points of trade, and we will consolidate the momentum for the rapid growth of bilateral trade. Thank you. MOFCOM has held a conference in the upgrading of the consumption as well as what we can do in 2018 for the consumption upgrading. So what are your comments on this year's economy as well as in terms of the consumption upgrading? As you have mentioned that in recent days we have held a conference for the plan to upgrade consumption, and we will enhance the convenience centers in the urban rural areas for the consumption, and we will also build the community-level service circle, and we will also expand middle and high-level import of goods, and we will focus on the green and recyclable economy. We will have the pilot programs in the innovation, and we will upgrade the high-quality all-work street, and these measures are intended to better upgrade the consumption. For this year's consumption situation, for the first quarter, the national economy has maintained a steady and booming growth. Consumption market has witnessed a good start. For the next stage, we can see that first, middle-income people, they have been expanding, and the rejuvenation of rural area, targeted poverty alleviation, all these have been playing a role, and we have a huge space to increase the resident consumption. Second, we will push forward with the supply side reform, and we will implement relevant import policies, and the effective supply will continue to increase in the market, and the supply and demand in the market will be improved. And we will also, in the meantime, witness new technologies, new business models, as well as new forms of business. All these will continue to drive and upgrade the consumption and release the potential for consumption. For the whole year, it is expected that for the consumption market will maintain a steady and rapid growth. As time is limited, we only have time for the last one question. Thank you. From Global Times. The MOFCOM, the U.S. has announced a tariff on the trucks and tire imported from China. So what is the MOFCOM's comment? I'm sorry, the European Commission has issued a tariff on the tires as well as the trucks import. The tariff is temporary for the anti-dumping purpose. For the next step, the EU will consider further investigation, and 6 months later, they will consider whether to put in place a formal anti-dumping measure. We noticed that in the investigation period, the EU Commission is still using the unfair substitution country measures, and they are using the data from other countries to substitute the cost of Chinese enterprises. They create a high level of dumping artificially. We express our deepest dissatisfaction for this, and we urge the EU to implement the obligations in the Article 15 of China's entry document into the WTO. And in the investigation, they should give Chinese enterprises the equal treatment. The Chinese and EU has maintained a great cooperation in technology development and the exploration of markets. For such a measures to be put in place, it will harm both Chinese enterprises as well as the long-term interest of the Thai industry in EU, as well as the benefits of the consumers in EU. We hope that the EU can be prudent in this investigation and to give us a fair treatment in the market competition of Chinese enterprises. We will follow this issue closely, and we hope that it will safeguard the lawful rights of Chinese enterprises. This is the end of the press conference. Thank you.